All right, cool. All right, there we go. That seems right. And right now I'm the only viewer, and that's okay. Ooh, heck. So first I need 8 tablespoons of butter. Which is also half a cup of butter. Don't know why they didn't just put that in this recipe. Still a little bit damp. Did I start early? Is this okay? Oh, yeah, we're like right on time. Cool, cool. Pretty sure I have it. Just barely. think that it's weird that when I'm watching my own stream on the same account, it still says that I have one viewer when it's clearly just me keeping track of it on the computer. Not too bad. Alright, there we go. Come on. There we go. Chefs say that when you're scooping flour, what you're supposed to do is take a spoon and fill up your measuring cup and scrape off the top. That was 3, 2 more. Because if you just like shove it in and scoop it up, that can compact the flour down, and then you're actually pulling in a different amount of flour than what it actually calls for. I am lazy, so instead of doing that, I just hold the flour container at an angle and then scoop it at an angle so it's not compacting it down quite so much. Which seems to work out fine. Pretty sure that was the right amount of flour. I haven't used this recipe before, so we'll see how it goes. I think the last time I made lemon squares, I just used something that I found on Pinterest, I think. But I have this big fancy King Arthur flour baking companion, which has treated me really well for the most part. Their sourdough recipe doesn't really work for me. I have to go to YouTube to find one that works, but everything else I've tried out of here has been fine. Alright, that looks like some dough. This is the crust for my lemon squares. Off. And then we're going to dump all that straight into this pan and then just squish it down. The recipe says a 10 by 15 pan, which I'm 89% sure is what this is. Let's see, it seems a little bit big for the amount of crust I have here, but we'll see how it goes. It'll probably just have to be a thinner crust than I might like it to be. Which, like, isn't the worst problem. It's maybe not ideal. It's probably not a great noise to listen to. Ooh, someone joined me. Oh, thank you. I got this when I went to Dragon Con last year. I wanted to get more stuff from that booth, but I was running out of fun money, so. I do have an apron that has lemons on it, which I probably should have used since I'm making lemon squares, but I thought that might be too on the nose. Also, it might be too much yellow because of the dress I'm wearing. Since you are listening, can you tell me if the audio is okay? I'm worried about being too quiet. This recipe says to push the dough up onto the side of the pan, but I definitely don't have enough dough for that and still have like a decently thick crust. So I guess next time around I will either use a smaller pan or make like not quite a double batch, but like a 1.5 times batch. There we go. That is pretty even. Now I've got butter hands. You gotta prick the bottom of the pan all over the crust, because that makes it so that if there's any air bubbles stuck down in there, it doesn't make the whole crust puff up, which is not what you want when you're making any kind of tasty treat with a crust on the bottom. A lot of times you do this for pie, or that's also why a lot of the times you will pre-bake a pie with pie weights in it so that it holds down the crust so it doesn't puff up. And this is going to bake for 8 minutes. Perfect. this recipe calls for the lemon zest, which is weird. Like, why would you waste that part of the lemon? But I also don't really feel like zesting 4 whole lemons, so I guess I'll zest 2 of them. And just... there we go. So, the thing about lemon zest is you don't want to go too far, like, into the skin. You don't want any of the white stuff, you just want the yellow stuff, because if you get too much of the white stuff, it'll make it taste bitter. Also, I don't have a proper zester, but my cheese grater, I just use the really small grating side of it and call it good enough. My cheese grater is also nifty because it came with a little doodad to stick on the bottom of the cheese grater to catch all the stuff that you grate, which is really convenient. Obviously, if not, you just zest it into a bowl or whatever. It's not really the season for lemon squares, but they're just so good. I do a lot of baking for other people, and so I wanted some lemon squares for me. Of course, I don't eat a whole tray of lemon squares to myself, so I'm still going to end up giving like half of these away. My therapist is always really surprised when I talk about giving away all my baked goods, but I'm just very particular about how fresh things are. So I would rather have a few really good fresh things for myself and then give the rest away. Which has the added benefit of, you know, people liking me because I give them free treats. I'm sure people like me for other reasons, but that's a great foot in the door, is giving away free stuff. I realized I could use food to buy friendship when I worked at an ice cream store because the owners didn't pay attention, so I just stole ice cream all the time. And then I would bring it to people. And they'd be like, oh man, fancy ice cream. Alright, that one's good. Welcome to the stream, guys. I hope you can hear me okay. I've also got some royalty-free lo-fi playing in the background. I don't know if you can hear it. Two whole zested lemons, which this recipe didn't call for, but I don't want to waste lemon zest. But I also don't feel like zesting all 4 lemons, so 2 is going to be good enough. And this gets to go in the sink. You can roll your citrus fruits before you start to juice them, and it's easier to get the juice out. It just loosens everything up or something. I'm not sure. And I have this nice old-fashioned juicer, which I like a lot because it's got this great thing that catches, and by great thing I mean a grate. It is also great though. That catches any pith that comes out or any seeds. Because you also don't want the seeds in there. Seeds aren't very tasty. watching me, but welcome. If you can hear me okay, please tell me in the chat, because I am not confident in how well this is going. I guess it's not going well because I keep seeing a viewer and then having them go away. Ooh, there's the crust. That's supposed to be like that? Let me check. I'm gonna let that bake for a couple more minutes. I don't trust that. I'm glad you like my oven mitts. One of my friends got them for me a couple years ago. It allows me to pull things out of the oven with my bare hands. Womp womp. This recipe only calls for half a cup of lemon juice, which really doesn't sound like enough for lemon squares. And I think I already have that, so I'm gonna juice another lemon and see how it goes. Oh, forgot to pull that sticker off. Oop, there it is. That's probably good enough. Thanks for joining me for lemon square making. I'm glad to have you here. You know what? I bet it would be easier to keep track of the chat if I moved where my laptop was. Give me just a sec. There we go. Alright, that is more than enough. So let's put all this stuff aside. Don't need this anymore either. I need some more melted butter. In fact, I need another half a cup of butter. margarine for all of my baking because it was cheaper, and that's what my stepmom always used. But it turns out real butter makes things a lot tastier. You also can't use margarine to make pie crusts because there's too much water content in the margarine, and it makes it just not come out right. I have not yet mastered pie crust. I would very much like to. I'm still really surprised this recipe calls for cornmeal in the lemon mixture, but we'll see how it goes. I'm sure it'll be fine. And if not, that just means I get to change it for next time. I've made lemon squares a couple of times. When I was a kid, I remembered my mom really liked lemon squares. She really liked lemon stuff in general. Unfortunately, I don't have her recipe, so I have to figure it out myself. That's probably not good enough. It's a different spatula. It's one of those things where you have to kind of make like a lemon custard, and then that's what you pour into the pan. Which is the last of my eggs. I didn't realize I was so low. It's okay, I have to go to the grocery store this week anyway. Ooh, I guess that means I might have to go to the grocery store tonight. Can't tell if I'm doing this right. This bowl does not look especially appetizing right now. But we'll see. Sometimes the things that you cook just don't come out the way you want them to, and you don't know until you pull it out of the oven. And it just be like that sometimes. Being good at cooking is kind of like being a combination of artist and scientist, because it's important to experiment, figure out what you like and how to make things better, but there's just also the artistic side to it of like is it tasty? Is it good? Does it make you happy? How much sugar do I need in this? 1/4 cups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Salt is very important in your sweet treats because salt doesn't just make things salty, it helps bring out the flavor of stuff. Okay, well, I can't tell if the curdling on top of this is from the butter that cooled down or if it's because the lemon juice fucked up the eggs. But again, we'll find out after it comes back out of the oven, which as soon as I pour this in, this has to bake for 25 to 28 minutes. You are welcome to keep hanging out with me while this is in the oven. I'll probably just straighten up the kitchen a little bit. And last time I streamed, I had a bunch of people come in like right at the end when I was like just about to put the mac and cheese in the oven. And I was like, well, I hope I can entertain you. Let's see how it goes. Ugh. I hope that's just the butter. If it's not, I'm not sure how you're supposed to make this without the eggs getting curdled. But again, we will find out. If it doesn't turn out, I guess I just have to do some research. And then I'll do another stream when I know how to make lemon squares even better. Come on. I have a Chromebook instead of like a more traditional computer. It's not always the most cooperative. It was cheap though, and that's what I needed. I'm very new to Twitch, so I don't know if there's a way to tell exactly who's watching me. If it's still Raven, how's your day going? probably wouldn't be very good to listen to me do dishes. Unfortunately, I don't know how to entertain you for the next 20 minutes that the lemon squares have to be in the oven. Hmm. I don't have a very good internet personality. Hmm. Oh, you know what? If I mute the computer, you can't hear the music I'm playing in the background. I'll just mute this. There. Mystery solved. Hmm. I wish there were more people here so I could chat with them. I guess that'll be easier to do if I ever get a bigger following. This is doing Twitch stuff is a pretty casual thing for me. I kind of just started doing it on a whim. But it's pretty fun. It's not like I have a lot else to do. I stopped working because I'm too anxious to work with the general public because there's a plague happening. So, I'm at home most of the time. No, it's okay. I have Animal Crossing, but I haven't played it in like months. I'm gonna have to like do some time traveling so I can do Halloween stuff. um, how would you like to meet my cat? He's the most interesting thing about me. It'd be like that sometimes. I'm sure once I finally go back to Animal Crossing, I'll be stuck in it for a while. Peanut. This is my perfect boy. His name is Peanut. He's pretty good at letting me hold him. Hi. Oh, thank you. All right, thank you. You're a very patient boy. I have another cat too, but she doesn't like being held very much. But maybe she'll let me introduce her to the internet. Come here, Kit Kat. See, this is Kit Kat. She's also very good. She's being a very patient girl, but she doesn't like being held. We got 15 minutes left on the 11 squares. I think they're coming out okay. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon. My husband bought Pokemon Shield for me before he had to go on a long business trip. And I didn't start it until like 2 weeks ago. And then I finished it in like a week because since they made it so you level up so fast, like I just fucking blew through like the whole storyline. At least they have both the DLCs out now, which should add a lot of story to it. Ooh, I have someone else watching now. Welcome to the stream. The lemon squares are already in the oven, so you missed me making them. But if you hang out for another 14 minutes, you'll get to see them come out of the oven. But then I have to wait for them to cool off before I can eat them. Oh, no, you just left. That's fine. Sword and Shield have been more fun than I expected them to be, than I expected it to be, just because there was so much like drama, I guess. Is it drama when it's like a multi-million corporation? Since there was just so much going on as Nintendo was producing it, like people were mad that the Pokedex was so reduced and all that kind of thing. But I think there was some other stuff too, but I can't remember now. My big problem with Sword and Shield is that like the final evolution of I hope you don't mind me just like info dumping about Pokemon. My big problem with Sword and Shield is that the final evolutions of the 3 starters don't really look like Pokemon to me. They look like mascots. Like you go back, like, and it's not that I'm a Gen 1 purist or anything. Like I have played all generations of Pokemon and I love them all. But if you go back to like the earlier gens, the final evolutions of the starters, they still look like animals. They look like monsters that you would find in the woods or wherever they would live at. But then these newer ones they just look like mascots. You can't imagine them like living in the wild somewhere. Like it's just weird. And like Incineroar has that problem too, but he's also supposed to be like a wrestler, so it kind of fits, but you still like it's not an animal that you would find in the wild. And I feel like I know that from Nintendo's perspective, it's like a marketability kind of thing, but like I feel like for internal consistency within the Pokemon universe, they should at least look like animals. So when I started Shield, I picked Grookey because it was the one I disliked the least, and then as soon as I got another grass type, I put it into PC. gotta stay hydrated because I donate plasma every week. Like I said earlier, I'm not working, but they pay you for plasma. And because it's a medical facility, it seems much safer than like working at Target or something. And it's looking pretty good. Um, the best thing was that one of my friends, who like, he played the last Pokemon game that he really played was like Heart Gold back in like 2010. So he was like, "Hey Sam, you're a Pokemon master, right?" Um, he wanted to know which gen I would suggest he jump to. So I told him to get Sun and Moon because it's my favorite new generation, and he's having a great time with that, especially since like they've added so much stuff uh, since Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out. So he gets to meet all these new Pokemon and stuff. And actually, he was really excited because there is that poodle Pokemon, like Furfrou or something like that. And he was so excited to catch one because he has a poodle in real life. And then he spent the weekend like trying to catch a shiny one so that he would have a black poodle in the game to match his black poodle in real life, and named it, and also named it Raven because his real life poodle is named Raven. So that was super cute. Thanks for hanging out while I just stand around waiting for these to come out of the oven. Um, I feel like I should probably think about more entertaining things to do on stream while I'm always waiting for things in the oven. This happened on my stream on Saturday too. Uh, oh, that's cute. We don't have any dogs here. I just have the two cats. I did get to rescue a dog a couple of weeks ago though, because there was just a random pit bull like hanging out on my street, and she was super friendly, so I was able to get her and take her to the local animal shelter. I used to have a housemate and she had a dog, and I feel bad because I didn't like her dog because she was not very well trained and she would attack my cat sometimes. But my housemate loved that dog more than life itself, so I just kind of had to put up with it. Thank you for the advice. That's definitely what I'm trying to do. And one of my other friends suggested I get like a list of fun facts, which shouldn't be difficult because I listen to a lot of educational podcasts. Um, that's fair. I can only listen to the podcasts like I can't listen to a podcast and like read something at the same time because the words that I'm reading will interrupt the words I'm trying to listen to. So I will listen to the podcasts while I'm like doing housework or something. Um, or, like I was saying, I donate plasma. So usually when I'm stuck on the plasma bed, I'll listen to a podcast. I am generally interested in like paleontology, so I listen to this podcast called Common Descent, where they talk about just various paleontological topics, uh, ranging from like how the tree of life works and the history of like Darwinism and how he came up with the theory of evolution. But they also go into more specifics like specific like evolutionary history of certain animals and stuff, which is really neat. The last episode I listened to was about the evolution of like venom and poison. My favorite fun fact from that episode is that there is a kind of frog that produces a poison that induces yawning, which makes it so that like a snake will try to eat this frog, and then the frog will secrete the poison, and then the snake will yawn, and the frog can just hop on out of its mouth, which like is mind blowing to me. I just like human scientists don't really know why people yawn, but this frog's biology figured out how to take advantage of it anyway, which is bonkers. Four minutes. I lost the page I was on. There we go. Are you planning on doing anything fun for Halloween? I know it's difficult this year because of the plague. I'm gonna be doing a special Halloween stream on Friday, um, with a surprise costume and some Halloween themed dinner. And then on Saturday, there is a local event that I'm gonna go to. And on the Facebook post, they're saying that masks are required. So as long as everybody wears a face mask, it should be fine for me to go. If I go and I decide I don't feel safe, then I will just turn around and come home, which like is less than ideal, but I don't get out of the house very much anyway, so I might as well. I didn't even really make Halloween sugar cookies this year. I experimented and made some pumpkin sugar cookies, which turned out really good, but I didn't get around to actually frosting them. Oof. Yeah, I've been really lucky, and like, because I'm such a natural hermit, I haven't really come into contact with any COVID. one of my friends had a scare, and so I had to I did have to quarantine a little bit to make sure that, like, once he got his test, like, once he got his back, I could go get mine, but his came back negative, so I was fine. Oven's almost done. Yes. Definitely had a panic attack like a few months ago because I was like, oh my god, my throat hurts. Am I dying? Because there's definitely a lot of things about COVID that scare me, but one of them is that you can lose your sense of taste, and like they don't know when it'll come back. It's just like, oh, guess your taste buds are gone. Sucks to be you. I'm gonna bake this for a couple more minutes. Recipe says bake till it is browned on the top and the sides. And there's a little bit of browning along the edges, but not very much. I should get out a cooling rack. My husband had to quarantine for a couple of weeks before he left for his business stuff, which was obnoxious. I guess if he was quarantining, technically everyone else living in that house also should have quarantined, but like, I just really just left the house to go grocery shopping, and he didn't interact a whole lot with our housemate, so it's whatever. It's going to be a little while before he gets home, which he might be home before Christmas, which would be nice, but it's, it is what it is. Yeah, hopefully. It would have gone away a lot faster if people would have just, well, my husband, I was trying to dance around it because he probably doesn't want me to talk about it very much, but I could probably say that he's in the military. So, traveling for work just means that he's deployed right now. Which is not fun, but whatever. He's got pretty steady internet access, so we can chat and call every couple of weeks. But it's fine. That's what I've got video games for. Every time he deploys, I pick up a new video game to try to throw myself into while he's gone. So, recently I started Horizon Zero Dawn, which I should probably play some more of. Yes. Oh yeah, that's nice and set. Beautiful. Top looks a little bit funny, but I think it'll be tasty. Here, let me unplug my phone so that I can show you the lemon squares. Hold on for a sec. Things are gonna get weird. I hope you don't have motion sickness. go. All right. We got some lemon squares. Now I have to wait for them to completely cool before I can cut into them or sprinkle the top with powdered sugar or anything. But should be tasty. Top looks a little bit weird, but it should all be fine. I'm very excited to eat them. I definitely don't need this whole tray of lemon squares to myself, so I'm going to end up sharing them with my friends. But thank you for joining me. Like I said, I'm going to be doing another stream on Friday to make some special Halloween treats. And I'm definitely going to be trying to stream cooking at least once a week from now on. And then occasionally also streaming my video games. So it was super fun to have you here, and I hope I see you again. Maybe someday I'll have even more followers to chat with, and that would be super fun. So thanks. I hope you have a good day, and good luck with your COVID tests tomorrow. Bye.